now to our top story. It was last night the final Conservative Party hustings. It took place at Wembley Stadium, and as always, the cost of living and taxes were right at the top of the agenda.
But despite Rishi Sunak's performance last night, which was rated as very positive, most people agree that it won't be enough to save his campaign.
Well, let's hear from one of his major backers, Mark Harper, MP for the Forest of Dean. And look, it was a big night for Rishi Sunak. Lots of people saying he was on fire, held the room. I suppose he's got that kind of feeling of nothing to lose. Is that fair to say?
Well, look, I don't really agree with your analysis there. I've been out with him on a number of events and done a lot of meetings myself, and the feel on the ground is very good. It doesn't really reflect what the polls are saying, and I still remember back to 2015 in the general election campaign where all the polls, every single poll, said that the Conservatives were not going to win that election. It felt much better than that on the ground, and that's exactly what I think this time. So I think it's all still to play for. We've still got any member that hasn't voted yet can still go online and cast their vote by 5 o'clock tomorrow, and I think it's still all to play for. And Rishi turned in a fantastic performance last night in front of, 6,000 Conservative Party members, and I think as you said, all the reporting of that event has been incredibly positive.
Talk about what was said or what wasn't said last night. I mean, he was very reluctant, wasn't he, to rule anything out, whereas a lot of people would say at least Liz Truss is very clear about what her premiership will look like, and saying she doesn't think there'll only be rationing of energy over the winter, appearing to rule out blackouts, and said there will not be any new taxes as well.
Well, I think Rishi's being very cautious because we can see what reality looks like, and I think all the way through this campaign he's been very careful to be honest and straightforward with people. We can already see in other European countries, we can see that they're looking at having to worry about energy over the winter. If we see Vladimir Putin using gas as a weapon in his campaign to try and his aggressive war in Ukraine, then we may find that other European countries from whom we get energy may well end up finding that energy isn't coming to us. So I think, look, you've got to be prepared for every eventuality. I think we've got to be very careful about what we do. We've got a very tough winter coming, and I think you've got to have a Prime Minister that's very focused on the reality facing us and then put in place plans to deal with that and not just hope for the best.